My old boss literally had no humanity. I remember hearing this one story of when his twin brother died. Instead of taking a time off from work to go, to the funeral and process those emotions, he shrugged and said, "There's just things like this just happened," and stayed locked in. Now that's an extreme case of staying focused when things go wrong, and my goal is not to make you some cold-blooded robot with no humanity who just stays locked in. No. My goal, though, is to improve your ability to focus so when things happen, granted nothing as big as a family member dying, you'll be able to lock back in and stay focused until the very end. Because, hold on, sorry. But anyway, because success only cares about if you keep moving forward towards it. Now, if you stop, but if you keep moving forward towards it. So I'm going to help you do that. Now, let's take a second to think about Karens. You know what I'm talking about. The Karens that we don't like. Think about how foolish they look when they're caught on camera trying to control things that they can't control. They want to control how somebody moves. They want to control how they get things. They just want to have some type of control. But because they can't get that control, they go ballistic and they look foolish as heck when videos of them are posted online of them acting out because they didn't get what they wanted. Now, we can look at that stuff and think that is so stupid. But when it comes to us, we overlook it. Have you ever tried to control the traffic, make it go faster, or maybe control somebody driving? Like you want to control someone to speed up in front of you or to get off your back. Maybe you want to control someone's opinion of you. Maybe you want to control the weather. You want to go out with your friends now it's raining, you just want the rain to stop. You're wishing it to stop. That's foolish as well too. Because we can't control those things. But why do we focus on things we can't control? And what happens when we stop focusing on things we can't control and we start focusing on things we can? Well, I gotta tell you this a couple months ago, around tax season. Quick side note, my boss, the old boss who I was talking about in the intro, he called me 6 months into the job and said, "Hey, Faith, I forgot to take taxes out of your check. So just beware, you gotta pay some taxes back." Okay, bet. So when tax season came around, I got hit with 1,500 bill, which literally made me sick to my stomach. I remember going into my car and just having a full out like, "Oh, I don't have the money," like just going mad. I'm just mad. Like it was not a good time for me. But no cap, after 5 seconds of losing my cool, I literally shrugged my shoulders, turned my car on, and did not let that thing stress me out anymore. Why? Because I knew I couldn't control the fact that I had a 1,500 bill that I had to pay. I couldn't control it. So would crying and being mad and stressing myself out about it work? No. So I let go. And instead I shifted. I said, well, what can I control? Well, I can control getting on a payment plan. I can control maybe talking to someone, see if I can do any write-offs. I can control asking for help. Like there are so many things I can do. And so when I shifted from focusing on what I can't to what I can, I stopped feeling anxious. I stopped feeling overwhelmed. I stopped feeling stressed. And I felt empowered and in control. And like, okay, cool. And it's so funny. I went from feeling like I couldn't control it to focusing on what I can control and feeling in control and then moving forward. Now, the biggest problem is most people don't make that shift. They don't go from, okay, I can't control this to what kind of control. Instead, they focus only on what they can't control and never get that sense of empowerment that comes from switching your focus on what can't be controlled to what can be controlled. So, my thing to you is you can continue focusing on things you can't control because there are so many things that will pop up in this day and age, especially if you're ambitious and you have goals. You can focus on that, but you will continue to be immobilized. You will continue to feel stressed and overwhelmed, and things will not work out for you. Or you can shift your attention over to what you can control. And this is really important because you're going to have problems pop up. If you're trying to start a business, if you're trying to get in shape, if you're trying to be healthy, if you're trying to go to bed on time, if you're trying to put time in on your passion projects, anything, you will literally have problems pop up that want to pull you off the course of what you want to do. But if you focus on the things you can control, when those problems pop up, they won't pull you off course because you see them for what they are, but you know you can't do anything about it. So why not focus on what you can do something about? You feel me? And the Stoics, they call this idea the dichotomy of control. And this is the mindset high achievers use to stay focused and to stay locked in when things happen. Because I promise you, things will happen that will make you want to give up. And that's why it's so important that we also take some time to focus on the mindset of things and knowing that it's okay if a problem comes or you're at something that seems impossible to get around. It's okay as long as you focus on what you can control. And that's literally what I'm doing with YouTube. I mean, if I focus on the fact that I don't have as many subscribers as I would like to have, if I focus on the fact that my views weren't as high or consistent, I would quit because I can't control that stuff. So I'm focusing on it, nothing's changing, I'm going to get discouraged, I'm going to quit. But because I'm only focused on making talking points, recording videos, and uploading, I'm focused on what I can control, and that's why it's kept me making videos so consistently. That's why this type of mindset is so important. And if you want to have that type of mindset, then be mindful of the next time you're frustrated, anxious, stressed, just feeling this type of emotion that doesn't make you feel good. Now, when you're feeling that, those are cues that you're more than likely trying to change something that you can't. So when you're in that moment, ask yourself, what do I have control over? And whatever you have control over, put all your focus on that. This is the process you want to repeat every single time. If you're watching something else, if you're watching a business video and you're getting overwhelmed because you're hearing all this information that makes you feel like you can't do this, instead of saying, okay, I'm going to quit because I can't control the fact that he's giving all this information, you could say, oh, wait, I could find a beginner's video. If you, instead of going to some place, like a fast food place, and there's no healthy options, and you're like, oh my god, I want to be healthier, I want to do this, but there's nothing. Well, what can you control? You can control going to a different place. You can control bringing food with you, which is wild if you're going to go to a restaurant, but there are things you can do, things you can control. You can eat something healthy prior to the restaurant, but there's so many things you can focus on that you can control. But I want you to get into the habit of looking for those things when you're feeling these emotions that don't make you feel well. My cat is outside the door again. This is my 5th video. Please, let me just make this video. Hold on, let me check up on him. We're back. I forgot what I was last talking about. I'm sorry, I had to take care of my son. But I can say that when you're feeling those emotions and you're feeling stressed, it can be hard to take a step back and think, what can I take? What can I control? I mean, I remember just this year, one of my old Honda started messing up on me, and it was really looking like I needed to get a new car, and that was very stressful for me. But even in that moment, I was able to take a step back and think, what can I control? And that was looking for different cars or getting a loan, and that helped me find a different car by focusing on what I can control. But I do understand that in that moment, it can be really hard. All I can say is continue practicing, continue growing your awareness of when you're feeling these emotions that make you feel stressed or negative. It's just anything that puts you in low frequency. Be aware of that, because that's really the biggest thing you want to practice, being aware of that. Because once you raise your level of consciousness, it'll be easier for you to then go, oh wait, I'm feeling this and that way. Well, what can I control? You know, your mindfulness, your awareness matters more than most than anything else. So if you're having problems pulling away from those emotions in the moment, that's okay. Continue practicing mindfulness. Continue being aware. Continue doing check-ins. Why do I feel this way? What am I focusing on? And eventually, it'll be a lot easier when you're even in that moment to be able to cool off, right? Not cool off, but be able to assess it more logically instead of reacting from your monkey brain or your lizard brain, you know? So what have you been trying to control lately that you can't control? Put down in the comments. Put down what you've been trying to control that you can't control, and then put down what you can control. Start getting that practice in now, right? And you can practice this even more by just making a list of things you can control versus you can't control. And maybe you can make that list based off some goals you've been wanting to get, or just something that's relevant to your life, just to really practice knowing what matters. What matters is what you can't, what matters isn't what you can't control, which it is important, but you don't want to focus on it. What matters more is what you can control and focusing on that, because that's really the only thing you can put your hand on. I like this one quote: the score takes care of itself. So instead of focusing on the score, focus on shooting. Now, by making this mental shift and going from always looking at things and getting overwhelmed, anxious, and mad because you're trying to change things you can't control, by now only looking through the lens of what you can control and catching yourself when you're slipping off and trying to change things you can't control, you're going to have a lot more peace in your life. There's not going to be much that can trigger you. And you're going to stay focused on whatever you want to see through, because literally nothing can pull you down. Let's say you want to get to, invest real estate, and you have finally got enough money to get a house, but then something happens and now your money's all gone. You'll be able to control how you move forward. Instead of saying, oh no, it's all bad, you could say, let's start back up again. Like, that's how powerful this mindset is. But if you don't use this mindset, if you don't intentionally put this in and practice it, when something happens, you continue falling off. When you can't control things, you would continue to be stressed and overwhelmed and discouraged and then run away. Like, things will not get better for you, is what I'm trying to say. If you continue trying to control things you can't control. But if you focus on what you can control, good things will come your way. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next ones. Bye.